Well, during Vietnam, I was part of the Big Red One. I'd been through the Jungle Expert School, and I thought I was going over there to win the war, and I picked up a few medals, but I picked up a few bullets too. Here's a picture of me leading my platoon through a rubber plantation. As you can maybe detect, there's some cuts there in that rubber tree. And much like we have maple syrup coming out of trees with a pot at the bottom, they raised rubber. At any rate, it was a long time ago, and those days are now behind me. Well, as you can see, I'm not the only one who picked this little space here in the woods to hunt from. Somebody got a bird and left some scat. A little bit rainy here today, but I thought it would be a good time. I need to shoot this gladius some more. It was supposedly brought out by Hatson to replace their bullpup. I'm not sure they did. We'll find out as I spend some more time, and then I'll do a review on it. But the real reason I wanted a video here in the woods with you was I wanted you to know that I find it impossible to be a great air gunner if you're not a good person first. And that I would be remiss if I didn't give you a few tips on what I think helped me be a good person before I became a good air gunner. We'll see. Let's start off with an experience I had in Vietnam. I was an infantry platoon leader working my way through the jungle. I had at one time 44 men. I came home with 28, unfortunately, and I'd been shot 3 times. I still carry a bullet in my left shoulder. But that's not the story I was going to tell you today. I was going to tell you that we got into some tunnels, and scent is important. Scent is important when you go hunting. You want to wash your clothes in a scent-free soap. You want to put some scent spray on you. Maybe even buy the clothing that has carbon particles in it for a scent-free hunt. But and then you want to have the wind in your face like I have right here. You don't want to have your scent downwind and then hunt in that same area. You're not going to be successful. Boy, if animals have good scent, good smell, they have it before anything else. Even birds can smell. So keep that in mind. I was down in those tunnels looking for Viet Cong. And boy, you knew when you were getting close to the chamber that they slept in, because that's where the smell was the worst. In this particular event, we had already had a firefight up on the surface and won. I and several guys went down into the tunnels, and by golly, we caught 2 live officers down there. And they weren't ready for any more fighting, I can tell you that. We brought them to the surface. And I noticed in their shirt pockets they had some maps. Now, they weren't the same maps I used in Vietnam. I needed good topography. I needed a good compass. We didn't have GPSs because I didn't want to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. You see, our artillery blew up jungle at night, and I didn't want to be there. The maps they had in their pockets didn't make any sense to me, and I called headquarters. Headquarters were the battalion commander, full colonel, and maybe a major or 2. And at the headquarters, they said, we need to know what these 2 officers know. We're going to send a helicopter out for them. And so my men and I waited, and pretty soon that helicopter arrived, and a couple of South Vietnamese, they were the friends, and a Army captain jumped out and said, where are the two prisoners? And I took them to them. And they began to question them. And these two officers, boy, they didn't know anything. They didn't know what the maps in their pockets had to say either. So the captain said, watch over one of these, the higher ranking gentleman. We'll be back. And they took the lower rank officer and put him in the helicopter, and up they went. And I remember still looking straight up. He got about 300 yards up and threw him out. I was shocked. I was surprised. He came right down and thunked right into the ground. And whoa, that's not exactly the way you want to die. Then the helicopter landed, and they grabbed the higher ranking officer, put him in the same helicopter, and take him up too. Oh, he dug his heels in. He didn't want to go. Before they got him onto that helicopter, he started talking like a songbird. He told them everything they wanted to know. With that, the captain told me they were going to take him back to headquarters, and the helicopter took off. And all I could think of was I still had about 4,000 meters to go. I needed to get my men out of that area before that artillery started pounding that area that night, because there was a lot of Viet Cong in that area. Why do I tell that story? Well, you should always be prepared if a supervisor or a wife or somebody comes to you and says, I want to know what's going on. Tell me. Boy, this is not the time to be dumb. I think if you live a transparent life, don't have any secrets, everybody knows you're transparent, and everybody knows you're truthful, you're gonna live a better life than if you weren't. And I'll never forget that story of those two North Vietnamese officers. Speaking of sense, I wanted to tell you how I fell in love with my wife, Dr. Paula. She worked at the same office that I did, and I knew her for about 4 years. Now, a lot of men are attracted to women by the perfume they wear, their pretty face, the wow clothing that they wear, their body shape, you name it. And yet we still have a 50% divorce rate, don't we? Those must not be the best areas to judge a woman by. And so I watched Dr. Paula, and I noticed something about her that was very strange. And that was that she was a person who was always coming into a meeting and always prepared to provide solutions to problems. I think there's some people that walk around who I think they think God put them on this earth so they could come up with the problems. And my dad taught me, don't ever come to his table with a problem if I don't already have at least my idea of a solution. Helped make me a little more well-rounded individual. Well, I served in a lot of meetings, and a lot of people threw up a lot of problems, and there was Dr. Paula, always looking for the solution. And it occurred to me that life, whether you're single or you're married, life has a lot of problems. And if you're going to get hooked up with somebody, you want to be with somebody who comes up with the solutions. And she did. We've been married 15 years. I wouldn't trade a minute of it. Well, Paula shot a possum yesterday, and by golly, we had possum stew last night. And that got me in the mind of rabbit today. I was hoping to pick up some cottontails or jackrabbits of some sort. None have showed up yet. I'm also reminded of a story when I was hiring a young teenager to work in a grocery store that I owned. And I remember the pep talk. I said, well, we had a little quiz test for him, and he did well. I said, I think you'll fit into this job well. But I want to tell you a problem that goes on here. It goes on with everybody. And that is that after they've been here 6 months, a year, they figure a way to steal. And just remember, owners, been here longer than you. I was a meathead, stock boy, a meathead, a cabbage head, a dairy head, also referred to as a cheese head in the grocery business, so I knew it well, regardless of the title. Kroger made me a assistant store manager for a day. Resigned, and with some help of some people, I went and bought my own grocery store, and that's where this story takes place. Anyway, this young man, I said, so any idea you get about theft has already been thought of before. And it's a lot of money to interview, find the right guy, and hire you, and you spend time here. And there's some raises and promotions waiting for you if you just keep your nose clean and work hard. He said, no problem. Well, there was a problem. After about 2 months, I called him in. I said, I've got to let you go. I told you that we knew every way to steal in this business, and you went ahead, and after just 2 months of work, you decided you figured a way to steal that nobody would ever think of. He acted dumb, and I said, you come back late at night, and first of all, during the day, you take the garbage out and throw it into the dumpster. Then you come back late at night, climb in the dumpster, get a case of beer or whatever it is that you want to steal, and climb back out and put it in your car, drive off. A method nobody would have ever thought about, but I told you about it. And now you're going to have a blemish on your record. You're a thief. You're being fired today, and I recommend you don't use us for any referral. How did I know? Well, later that afternoon, a little old lady that I'll leave nameless, she came in, and I told her to get her $25 worth of groceries for free. You see, this little old lady was about 80 years old. She lived behind the store. She had trouble sleeping at night. So she knew she'd get $25 worth of free groceries from me if she'd keep an eye on the back of that store, and if she ever saw anything strange, get the license plate number and give me a good description as she can, and I'll know what's going on late at night in the back of my grocery store. She watched this boy come back at night, pull that stuff out of the dumpster and put it in his trunk, and we spent a lot of time training him, all to no avail. What's the message here? Just know that your supervisors, the bosses, they've been there longer than you. Don't steal. It's their merchandise. Do your best to work around it. Protect it. I thought something I forgot out here while I was hunting is I like to take some calls, crow, squirrel, deer calls, but I'm not hunting those animals. And don't overdo it, but I like to call every now and then so that rabbits and everything will know, gosh, this must be a safe area. A crow wouldn't be in a safe area, and there's crows over there, or whatever. I forgot to bring my caller. So develop a list. Make sure you always have the right equipment for the right job. Meanwhile, if you got any value today, give us a thumbs up. Leave a comment. I answer them. Subscribe. And remember, as you go out hunting, to be safe, sharp, silent.